Welcome to the No Sports Report, a production of iHeartRadio and Treefort Media. Small note, this episode was recorded prior to the murder of George Floyd and the resulting global reaction and protests, which is the only reason it's not mentioned. Something to keep in mind while listening. My name is Jensen Karp, and I'm a sports fan who, right now, without any actual competition on an American field, has had to, for lack of a better pun, move the goalposts. You see, the only sport I'm watching right now live is Holy Moly. Yeah, it's Steph Curry's Extreme Mini Golf Show, and it's as close as any of us are getting to actual sports, so no need to roll your eyes. There are Chippendales, they light one of the contestants on fire, there's electrocutions, and since it's in its second season, this is how they're able to advertise it.
Holy Moly 2, the sequel. The balls drop.
So yeah, it's super classy. Please, sports, come back soon. Because in the meanwhile, I'm talking to athletes and sports industry professionals about what they're doing in quarantine, hoping to figure out if they miss competing as much as I miss watching it. This is the No Sports Report. Hawaii native and Miami Marlins pitcher Jordan Yamamoto was someone you once knew only as an afterthought. He was one of the 4 unknown prospects traded to the Brewers for all-star slugger Christian Yelich, and at one time it was seen by fans as a true fire sale, a tradition known way too well in Florida when superstars might get a little too expensive and ownership hadn't cared about the product on the field for years. But ownership had changed thanks to new CEO Derek Jeter, and baseball insiders knew better than to chalk this up to tanking, especially when it came to Jordan. And the entire world realized that last year when he was called up to the majors and set a franchise record with 14 scoreless innings over 2 starts to begin his career. He didn't even lose until his 6th appearance. Things evened out a bit over the season, but he still ended up with the rotation's best whip at 1.144 and had 82 strikeouts in just under 79 innings. The dude was throwing. And even with a talented, crowded pool of arms in Miami, things looked even better this spring training for Jordan, and he's currently seen as a favorite to make the heavily contested starting rotation. And he knows how to cut hair, so they better keep him happy in case a barber isn't allowed to join the team. We talk about his skills with a shaver, staying level-headed through professional ups and downs, and solving a Rubik's Cube. And in another installment of Fandemic, I talked to Barstool funnyman and battle rap champion Rone Ferrone about making sports content in a pandemic. This is a new episode of the No Sports Report.
Call from
Jordan Yamamoto.
To accept, press 1.
Jordan.
Yes, how's it going?
I wanted to know where you're currently quarantined.
I'm actually in Jupiter, Florida right now.
Okay, Jupiter. Because I spoke with Colton Wong recently, and I'm still trying to figure out that if you were quarantined in the heaven that is Hawaii, if that's a good or bad thing.
No, I'm actually not home right now, but we'll get back there sooner or later.
Yeah, because I wonder, it seems good because it's Hawaii, but then you're stuck inside just staring at the wonderful ocean and the surroundings around. It's like, I feel like maybe it's more of a torture.
Yeah, I mean, both places right now, the water's very nice on both places. Beaches are nice. So it's kind of like, it's still kind of torture over here too, where I can't go to the beaches. Beaches are still closed. So I just kind of wait it out, trying to keep myself occupied.
Totally. I assumed you were quarantined with your fiance, Madison. Does this pandemic mess with your wedding plans at all?
I mean, right now, no, because our wedding is in late November, so almost into December. So, I mean, unless this runs to the date, then we're not going to change it. I mean, everybody got their plans. Like I said, it's not going to run into our date because it's so late. I mean, hopefully.
Yeah, that's very lucky, though. But it is sort of one of those things that I'm sure you're just like refreshing, being like, okay, are they closing the venue? I got married, 2 years ago? And I feel like there's so much preparation that goes into it. It's like you can't really stop the momentum unless it's really over.
Yeah, exactly. We got lucky because when we did the wedding, it was more of a package deal. So we got a wedding planner involved. Because it's so far away, it's hard to kind of plan a wedding from being 6,000 miles away. So we just decided to hire a wedding planner to kind of do everything on the Hawaii side. And then from there, we just figure it out on this side where she just asks us questions, going, hey, do you want this or that? And then we say yes or no. Makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, would you get married? Because I was thinking of this myself. Like if my reception was canceled and I couldn't have my whole family there, I would still probably go to City Hall, get that part done, and then just wait for the pandemic to pass to have a party for everyone. Does that seem, that seems right?
That's what some people are doing nowadays. I mean, it's just as hard, like Because it was funny when this whole thing started. Madison actually was talking about eloping, and still having the reception, but it's just like we're not going to be affected by it. At least we don't think we'll be affected, So it's kind of like we'll just stay the course, and if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, we'll figure it out from there when that time comes.
Totally. She is a kindergarten teacher, which is the least selfish thing she can be. I'm sure her leaving her class in the middle of this whole thing was not easy.
Yeah, that definitely wasn't, but she is working every day from home. She does a lot for the kids, but she's actually building goodie bags for them for the end of the year. So it's actually kind of cute. She has all the names written on the bags and everything. So we have to go deliver them soon.
And I know all about Piper. You, like millions of other people, were kind enough to adopt a dog during the pandemic. Tell me about the decision to do that.
I've been wanting a dog for a while. It was funny because I've been wanting a dog for about a year now, of my own. She's been really good. She's actually sleeping right now, which is really helpful for both of us because Madison is finally, the nail salon opened up, so she's going to go get her nails done, and I'm just signing cards. So it's just kind of like it's perfect time right now for her to sleep.
Yeah, my wife is going to be extremely jealous when she finds out the nail salon has opened in Jupiter, Florida. It has become quite. She's tried to do it herself. She just isn't as good at it. She actually, which we'll get into with you in a little bit. She cut my hair and did an incredible job. So I feel like it's just weird. It's the one talent she doesn't have is doing her nails.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I actually haven't really cut hair too much during this time either.
Yeah, I assumed. You also made a great point on Instagram about people who are adopting these pets right now, and that when we go back to our normal lives, that we have to make sure not to neglect them just because we won't be home the entire time.
Yeah, like that was the first thing I like we said. So I'm lucky. I got Madison, who we don't know what's going to happen with this whole thing with teaching and everything, that she possibly could be home. My season got shortened, so we're going to be with the dogs pretty often, but it just sucks, when people go, I can get a dog now because I'm home. But when I go back to work, when they do like an impulse buy and they go, okay, I can get a dog, and then once that rolls around where work comes back into play, where they're gone for 8 hours a day, now what's the dog going to do? Sit in the kennel all day long, I don't want to see the dogs go through that. It sucks seeing dogs be sent to shelters and all that stuff, So I just want people to realize what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's in it for the long run and not in it just because it's convenient right now.
Agreed. Also, like millions of other people during the pandemic, you gave into the pressure and you opened a TikTok account. How do you feel on the app? I have been vocal here on this podcast that I have never felt older. I am 40 years old. On TikTok, I feel 140. How have you been getting along with the app?
Honestly, I post a video here and there. One of the videos of Piper kind of blew up, but other than that, I don't really go on because it's a younger generation of kids who are 13 to 15 years old, where they're doing something. Personally, I'm not a big fan of a lot of stuff that's on there, but there is funny content on it. So I kind of like to watch between me, my fiance, and her brothers. Like we send each other videos of the funny stuff that goes around. Not so much of all the TikTok famous girls. It's more of the funny pranks that go on, or just the home videos that are played on top of there. So those are the videos I like to watch, and those are the videos that always pop up on top of my feed.
Yeah, I am a big fan of that one challenge where it's like, and you move an arm and then a leg, and then you run after your dog.
Yeah. I haven't tried that with Piper yet. She's kind of like, she doesn't really get scared or skittish. She's more of a like, okay, well, you're playing.
Yeah.
I'm going to start biting you. So I don't really want to do that because, we already have enough time with her biting us. So we kind of try to limit that.
That's true. It could end poorly. You also celebrated a birthday in quarantine. I'm sorry to hear that. It must have been just you, Madison, and Piper. But how did you celebrate?
So Madison's family is actually from the Jupiter area too. So we kind of been quarantining with them. Where we have our house over here, but we go there often to kind of hang out. They have a pool over there, so we'll jump in the pool. We'll play with the dogs because they have 2 dogs over there. So we're trying to get Piper acclimated to the 2 new dogs. So we hung out over there for a little while. And then we also had dinner the night before. That day I started working on my truck. I was working on my truck all day pretty much because that was what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I got lights for my birthday for my truck, and I put those in. But we hung out, and then we also drove up to the beach, sat inside the back of my truck, and watched the sunset. So it's kind of cool.
I love that. I know you're a big car guy. What truck are you building out? What are you working on?
I have my Silverado that I've been building for a while. I got it when it was pretty much fully stock and white, but now it's black with other stuff done to it. It's funny because every other week I order something, and when Matt said $5, she's like, oh, another thing for your truck, another thing for your truck, But I love my truck. My truck is like, it is my baby, so I got to take care of her.
So beyond these things, how have you been able to stay in shape and mentally prepared for a season that looks like it's kind of on the brink? But how have you stayed? Have you stayed active?
Right before this whole quarantine shutdown, we kind of got wind from it that we were about to go into shutdown and everything, like about a week and a half, 2 weeks before it actually happened. So what I did is I kept searching online for weight sets and everything. I got lucky. This guy down in like 30 minutes away, he had like a warehouse full of weights for that I bought a whole set from like an Olympic weight set from him. And then I also ordered one on Amazon, which came in a month after. So It was definitely perfect timing. I got lucky with the weight, so that's why I keep it at my fiance's mom's house. So we work out almost 4 times a week, throw every day. Just stay in shape, It's kind of like you don't want to be not ready and they go, okay, you have to be back by this time, So they're trying to stay in shape and be ready for the season.
Yeah, that is super lucky because a lot of people I've spoken to were like racing to get equipment at the last minute. Have you been able to throw?
Yeah, it's hard to long toss or anything because all the parks are closed and everything, but we just go on top of the street, and then also have this indoor facility where I got lucky with again in Jupiter, and it's like an indoor facility where it has a mountain in it. So I go there once a week, and I throw bullpens with a catcher that I've known for a little while,
Right.
A good family friend of my fiance. Then, so I got kind of lucky in this area during this time.
Absolutely. Last season, you got called up to the bigs, all after a very high-profile trade. You faced the pressure head-on, had a tremendous start. It seemed, reading it all again, as for research, I knew it when it happened, but reading it, it's almost like inhuman. How do you think you were able to overcome those nerves and the tension of the first few games? How did it not get to you?
It's all in God's plan, but at the same time, it's that competitive side of every athlete. The day I got called up, I had the most nerves you can imagine. I couldn't sleep. I was just ready to go, and I just wanted to play. But once I threw that first pitch, everything calmed down. I just felt everything just like kind of left, all the nerves left, and it was like, okay, I got through my first pitch, now let's go. It's the same game. It's the same distance from home to the mound.
Yeah.
So kind of like I just got to pitch how I know how, be the person I am that got me here. So all the nerves went away, and over time, you still get the jitters of being in the big league. You'll never get used to that, but just the competitive side kicks in during the game. So it was actually kind of cool.
Yeah, it was incredible to watch. You had a really strong spring before everything was postponed, and you appeared to be set for the starting rotation in a battle that a lot of baseball was watching. What hurdles do you think now you'll face once you guys all get back into action? Are there certain things for a guy who started his professional career without any fear, it looked like from afar? What are you fearful of if baseball were to start again pretty soon?
Honestly, I'm not really fearful of much because to me, it's in God's plan. It's in God's hand. What He wants is going to happen. And if by chance anything that like happens that's negative in my life, it's just like, okay, it happened. What am I going to do? How do I look at it as a positive outcome? How can I spin this to be positive? My thing is life's too short to be negative. So you'll rarely hear me ever be negative. I always like to look at the positive in life. And right now, there's a pretty good positive. That we will have a baseball season, that we will be able to play again. I don't know where, I don't know when, but for the most part, just being lucky to even put on a uniform is just good enough for me.
Yeah, I was looking through some of your social media, and obviously with the extremely hot start that you had, you started to even out afterwards a bit. And when people would kind of get on your case about it, I was super impressed with your response to a lot of the tweets of you just being like, yeah, man, it's baseball. There's ups and downs, which I don't think is a very common answer. I think sometimes people get in a slump, especially after being such an amazing hot rookie start. It's like you definitely have a really tepid mind about those kind of things. And where did you start to get that? Like, how are you not getting down on yourself if you're not living up to the expectations you have set for yourself?
It's a support system, it's your family, it's your friends, it's my fiance, it's everybody back home in Hawaii. No matter how I do, no matter what the outcome is, I'm always getting text messages after the game, like, hey, if it was good, like, hey, congratulations, like, that was a great outing. If it was bad, it was just like, hey, like, it's all good. It's baseball, Don't get down on yourself. Like, you'll come back next outing. So it's just a support system. The more you lean on them is the more you'll have success, because the more you start leaning on the people who all they do is down you all the time and give you that negative vibes is what you're going to go to, So for me, it's like I said earlier, a positive vibe is what is positive outcomes, you know. So,
Yeah.
you know, some people don't understand. Some people don't understand this game. All they see is numbers, and all they see is figure on TV. And if we lose their money in, say, fantasy baseball, they get mad at us, you know. But at the same time, I'm a human being. I'm a person, so they are too. People make mistakes. People talk about things that they're passionate about, and if they're passionate about their money, meaning that they like to gamble, hey, so be it. But I'm not going to judge them, and I'm not going to get into an argument over something I can't control. You know, that I know I did my best at, that I know I prepared for, you know, and it just didn't go my way. So there's no point in arguing. There's really no point in arguing. It's more just take the high road, you know, kind of spread love and spread aloha, and that's how I live.
Derek Jeter is an owner of the Marlins. I'm asking you, are you guys text friends?
No. He's professional. I've never texted him. You know, I talk to him in person all the time whenever I see him.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what they say. You know, he's my boss. You know, as much as I'm a fan of him and growing up was a fan of him, you know, you got to keep it on a professional basis. So whenever I see him, I'll say hi, shake his hand, you know, have a little conversation. But that's to the extent I have with him, you know. And if I need anything, you know, he's open to kind of advice where he can help us out, you know. But at the same time, he has his work cut up for him. I have mine, so I can't be bothering him every single day.
Is there, but Christmas card?
No.
All right.
I mean, I had one instance where I kind of made a fool of myself. You know, we were at this, we had FanFest there this past spring training, and we were at Topgolf where we had all the sponsors of the Marlins. You know, they each had a booth of their own. We had our communications guys who was giving out which booth we belong to. So each player had to go to a different booth and everything. And I don't know where I'm going. They didn't tell me at the front door, so I'm trying to find a guy. I'm running around and everything, and I see him. I spot him, so I start running towards him. I get caught behind somebody, and I feel someone poke me, like jab me from the back. And I turn around, and Derek Jeter pokes me, like, "Hey, what's up, man?" I go, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I did not see you there. I was on a mission. Like, so I had a conversation with him. I felt bad because I walked right past him, you know, not even realizing he was there. So I felt kind of like a fool at that moment. But he started laughing, and he was like, okay, as long as you're doing something, you know, so it was definitely fun.
That's great. I mean, his gambles, you know, a lot of people looked at stuff like the trade for you with Christian getting sent away. I mean, this was the year it was supposed to pay off for him. So I'm excited just for his redemption of 2020.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people doubt what the Marlins are doing, but you kind of expect change right away. You know, like what they say, rebuild takes time. And if you expect like a trade to just instantly magically work, it's not going to happen. You know, 3 of the 4 players in that Yelich trade has never been to the big league. You know, now 3 of the 4 are in the big leagues. We got the 4th one on the verge of being in the big league. So now it's hey, let it play out, give it time to kind of develop, and then you make your judgment. You know, like not everything is supposed to be right then and there, you know, instantly happen. So It's kind of fun to talk to people about it when they find out I'm part of the Yelich trade, because I thought it was like, hey, they're great players. Yelich, Remuto, Igor, everybody, all those guys who are here, Stanton, you know, they were all unbelievable players. But at the same time, you look at it and go, hey, when they were there in Miami, what did they do? You know, so you kind of have to look at it that way and just trust the process that the Marlins are doing something to change something up to try to win, you know, try to change something up so that it gives them a new opportunity to start, a fresh start of everything, you know. So that's why I guess that they brought everybody in to kind of get new players in there, to set a new way of the Marlins.
Sure, and I'm excited for it. Other than Jeter, you brought him up. Who else were your players growing up?
I actually like the Red Sox. So Jeter, I was a big kind of Jeter, but you know, I was a big Red Sox fan.
Yeah. So who are your Red Sox guys?
It was funny because growing up, there was always Jason Varitek.
Yeah.
You know, JD Drew, that whole 2007 World Series team was a team that when I was in Little League we used to sit in our living room and watch that season, you know, and that's one that I could replay and watch over and over. So like that was when I initially probably became a Red Sox fan.
That's awesome. Now, you decided to take on haircutting as a hobby, I think a few years back. Did you ever think it would be such a hot commodity in our country to know how to cut hair?
No, I didn't. You know, it's crazy because I grew up drawing. I grew up painting, you know, doing art. So I figured, hey, haircutting's an art. Why not try it, you know? And so I bought my first clippers back in 2015, I believe. Right. We were in the basement of our whole family in Helena, Montana. I started that same night I got it. I cut my roommate's hair and everything. And slowly by slowly, you know, just started cutting for free, just started cutting out and practicing, having the guys be like, hey, you guys don't have to pay me as long as you let me practice on your guys' hair.
Yeah.
So a lot of guys are like, you know what, we wear hats for a living, why not? So they let me do that and everything, and over time I became the team barber, and people started trusting me more and more to cut their hair. So it's kind of a good thing.
It's awesome. I mean, our teammates just texting you like, see you soon with a question mark?
Yeah, definitely. I had a bunch of guys text me right when this quarantine thing started after baseball was kind of shut down because the original barber, Juice, he's down in Miami, who's actually the barber of our team. He has a barber shop inside the stadium and everything. He didn't want to drive up here every single day to kind of cut people's hair. So the guys who live up here in Jupiter, they kind of called me. I was like, hey, can we get a haircut? So at first I started cutting hair during the quarantine, but after a while I was like, my fiance's grandma is a high-risk patient too. It's COVID. So I was like, hey guys, you guys gotta understand that I have my fiance's grandma. They're like, no, we totally understand. So ever since this whole quarantine started, I haven't been cutting hair, which is kind of junk, but it is what it is. Can't really help it, and you gotta just wait till this whole thing's over.
I love it, man. I love how good of a barber you are. It makes me very excited. We like to end this on a bit of a positive note. Is there anything that you think we've adapted during COVID-19 that you hope sticks around? Something that when we're all better, we're walking out of our houses, maybe we keep in our arsenal?
People you see out. So like lately, we've seen a lot of people walking, riding their bikes, spending family time together, just being outside, being active rather than inside and on their iPads or watching TV all the time, so that's something that I think should continue to happen after this is all done, because it's nice seeing people out. It's nice seeing people interact with other people, and be a little bit more kind out there, it's just one of those things that I like the vibes that have been going on because people want to be outside and not stuck in their house 24/7.
Yeah, I agreed. I walk around my area and it feels like it's like the 60s, like what I used to hear about people just biking, and I even see rollerblades. Like it's literally 1995.
Rollerblading, full families on bikes. It's really great to see.
It is. All right. So I'm going to give you some suggestions. We're going to round down now with some ideas I have for you in quarantine. Sounds like you and Madison and Piper are busy, but still, I'm going to give you some ideas, things you could take on as we seem to be in our houses. At least here in LA, they pushed our in-home till the end of July, which is crazy. I know it's a lot different in Florida.
Gee.
I know. Here are some suggestions. I think it's time for me or you, or really anyone listening, to learn how to solve a Rubik's Cube.
I know how to do that already.
You do?
Got it. Yep.
How did you learn?
I learned back in high school. Fastest time I've ever done it, 1 minute and 40 seconds.
1 minute and 40 seconds. I mean, I don't want to tell you what the world record is, but there are so many YouTube videos.
It's like 13 seconds, but yeah, I used to have to do it in less than 2 minutes.
Yeah, the record is now 4.221 seconds.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
See, that's too much. I don't have that much time.
No, now I feel like the only guy who doesn't know how to do it. Did you ever look anything up, or you just kept doing it to learn it?
No, I have to look something up. YouTube is the key.
Yeah.
YouTube taught me, and then ever since then, you kind of just have the algorithms down, and then you just play with it.
Haircuts, baseball. Is there anything Yamamoto can't do? Unbelievable. Okay, moving on.
It was funny because I actually just remodeled her mom's house. They have like a rental apartment above their garage, and so for a good quarantine project was we remodeled the whole thing.
Oh my God, you're so active.
Yeah, I took construction in off-season in the minor league. When you don't get paid off-season, you make $6,000 a year. You got to find a way to kind of offset your finances in the off-season. So
Sure.
that's where I took up, and that's where I learned how to remodel things.
Oh, amazing. All right, I feel like this is all going to be a letdown. Second, do you know anything about the Topps Baseball Card Project 2020?
Topps Baseball Card Project? What is that?
It's called 2020. So it's not a sponsor of the show, but I will gladly trade cards for a sponsorship. This is a collection from Topps, which we all know, the world-famous card company, where they took 20 iconic players, including Sandy Koufax, Jackie Robinson, Ichiro, Mike Trout, and even your coach, Don Mattingly. They took these iconic cards, right, from these players from certain years, and then they matched them up with popular artists, which you must like because you said you got into art at an early age. And they had those artists reimagine what those cards would look like if they created them.
Oh, and then is there like the cartoon thing?
Yes. So Mr. Cartoon is one of them. Josh Viddies, Don C., Matt Taylor, Ben Baller, the jewelry artist, and Ermsey, who I love. They all have released cards, and they're going to do 20 each, obviously. And they're available for just 48 hours at a time, and they're limited. They also release they release one that's like only out of 20, but those sell out in literally seconds. But my favorites have been so far Ermsey's Dwight Gooden and Matt Taylor's Derek Jeter. But I'm now scouring eBay. There's new ones that get released every day on their site. But anyway, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's definitely cool. I think because I follow Topps. I actually just finished the one of signing some of their cards. But I seen it on top of their Instagram page. I'm like, what is this? And then now you explain to me, and I kind of understand it a little better now.
Yeah, and Mr. Cartoon, I'm sure we're both obviously fans of his, but I mean, it's really cool. All right, lastly, this one I have put a lot of work into. I'm very scared about this one. You're into country music, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So this is my thing. I'm thinking this will work out perfectly. I think that you should write a country song called The Quarantine Blues.
I'm not very good at any instruments, and I'm not very good at singing.
Okay.
I think I am good at singing in the shower, but other than that, I'm not very good at singing.
Well, so much of country music is about hard times, and what's harder than right now? I wrote you a few lines. If you'd be willing to just listen to them, maybe you'd be into it, and then you can have a song.
Okay.
All right. Okay, here we go. I've worn the same pajama pants for a week or two. That, my friend, is the quarantine blues.
Pretty good.
Okay, all right. Here's another one. I guess I'll never be able to take a cruise. That's what we call the quarantine blues.
That's pretty funny.
All right, last one. I cut hair, but it's useless if I can't see my dudes. That's what we call the quarantine blues.
That's good. That's pretty good.
All right, I'll send you the lyrics. I'll email them to you just in case you feel like you want to write a song.
Okay, sounds good to me. I'll definitely look into it.
Well, thank you for talking to me today, and I stay healthy with Madison and Piper and the whole family, and I'm so excited to see you back on the field for a great follow-up season, and please be safe.
Thank you for having me again.
After this, my Fandemic chat with Barstool Sports' Adam Ferrone, a.k.a. Rone. Right now, Feeding America is working tirelessly to ensure our most vulnerable populations, like students who are out of school, the elderly, individuals whose jobs are impacted, and low-income families, continue to have access to food and other needed resources during the COVID-19 pandemic. The Feeding America Food Bank Network is committed to serving communities and people facing hunger in America, and their greatest need is donations and support of local food banks. This podcast is committed to donating a portion of the proceeds from the show to Feeding America, and we hope that you can join us in this effort too. Find out how you can help at feedingamerica.org/COVID-19. And now I check in with Barstool Sports' Rone in our latest installment of Fandemic. Hello, Rone.
What's going on, pal?
I'm doing all right. I feel like we're hitting a bit of the end, but then I assume everyone who's going out to the beach is going to get very sick and die.
But that's what I'm worried. How long have people been going out to the beach? Have they been going out for enough of a cycle where we should be seeing this new spike?
I think we have 2 weeks.
You think so? Like this is like this past weekend was the 2 weeks, and now we're going to be back into it?
Maybe. I mean, that would make sense. I mean, Memorial Day would clearly be a spike. That would make sense because some people went out, hung out, got sick. I mean, I saw like a video of the Jersey Shore and people were like straight up coughing on each other for fun.
Yeah, that's like the new beach game. It's replaced bocce ball.
Yeah, I didn't see in any of those videos where people were like, check this out. I haven't seen one face mask.
At all.
No.
But then like people are like, oh, but it can't live outside. I don't know. I've gotten a lot of misinformation, a lot of incorrect information.
Well, I'm still weary of 5G.
Dude, I knew it was my phone this entire time, but somehow my addiction prevails that I'm gonna take the 5G and just die.
Well, people might know you, Adam Ferrone, from your time right now with Barstool Sports, killing it. What do you do when you work at a website with sports in its name and you find yourself without sports?
It's so weird, honestly. I'm like a Iditarod dog who like can't run and is just being like put in the house. Like my like purpose as a human being is skewed right now because like I don't know what to do with my energy. And luckily I have like other hobbies and stuff like that, and I'll try and like, write some raps or like make some videos that aren't really fully about sports. But there's part of me that I feel like is missing right now. Are you going through any of that same vibe?
Well, I have to deal with sports every day for this podcast, so it's a little easier for me because I get to research and look up stuff and wonder when golf is coming back because I'm interviewing someone. Like that stuff does kind of scratch the itch a little bit, but I feel like the TV stuff is what's killing me because I can't watch any NBA playoffs, which hurts, or and Sports Center is just painful dudes talking to each other at this point.
Right, that's what I mean. I can't believe that they're just continuing to fulfill these hours of programming on ESPN and stuff like that. Like they're just talking about nothing. Like, but somehow they're finding a way to still find LeBron versus MJ debates. Like people are just. It's showing our like crackhead nature as sports fans that everybody is kind of folding back into these like debates that are supposed to be comforting to us. It's like, oh, everything's normal, but you just know it's not normal. It's like, even when I want to be, I can't watch every second of sports, but even it's like a soothing background noise. It's like my like white noise right. Of like, if I'm on the couch, I'm just throwing on the games. I might even put on a baseball game, Jensen. That's how fucking froggy I feel. That's how crazy I feel.
I'm a baseball guy, but I understand.
It's crazy. It's so hard to root for baseball. I mean, going to a baseball game is always an elite activity, but watching a baseball team that you don't care about, like it's not your like home team or the team you root for, is like one of the more excruciating asks in the world of sports.
I'm going to assume you're not watching the KBO then.
I mean, I'm watching people who watch it and like their sense of normalcy right. is comforting to me, right. But I can't like bring myself to the hours of watching it or like the learning these new players. I've spent so much time in the worlds of these sports. It's almost like with like wrestling, like you learn everybody's backstory. Like these are the guys I like. These are the people I don't like. And it's almost like you're just rooting for like the colors at some point, the gang sides of it. And then you get into like these new baseball leagues. I have to learn a whole new ecosystem of sports to have to watch. I'm not prepared for it.
It's a bit too much. I do want to know, like with you, you're out of New York, same place where Barstool is. Is there a sort of pressure around the office to find the extraordinary out of the mundane right now, like trying to create content?
I think that it's more of an internal pressure. I feel definitely an internal pressure and restlessness to like make content. And I don't want to do a single thing to make this worse for anybody. But at the same time, like when you see absurdity going on in the world, like, and you see like people are getting these sound bites, these viral videos from it, like, yeah, you want to be a part of that. It's just like instinctual to want to try and make content from it. So it's like, how do I make content from this like historic time that we're living in while also like not being part of the bad wrinkle of history of it? And I think you figured it out in a great way, starting a pod and being able to talk to people. And it's just, I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is.
I don't know. It's funny because like the way like a timeline of viral goes is it's always like, oh, that's funny. That's interesting. And then 3 weeks in, you have like some shitbag like Logan Paul laughing at a cemetery. You know what I mean? Like there's a weird way of making it funny. And then after a long time, you're like, oh, this is just morbid. Like there's no real joke here anymore. And you did a great job. We'll play a clip right now from it. You did a great job of battling household items.
What up, swivel chair? I didn't see you sitting there. Well, you're about to get killed in here once I grab all the silverware and rip the stuffing out this nothing like a fucking Build-A-Bear. I'm on the edge of my seat, but no one's ever heard of you looking like a baseball glove from 1932. What's your life like? Dutch ovens and butt blubber. That tremendous stench, grundle sweat, ass and nut butter. I'm doing sold out shows. So how's this dude gonna compare? I'd say we could switch seats, but you've never been a musical chair.
And so that was you just battling your sofa.
Yeah, that chair was fucking looking at me wrong, dude. Every day I sit down and this chair is just staring at me. Or worse, some days it turns its back to me. It's a swivel chair. So, but I mean, that's like what I had to get to. It like, in some ways is like a good creative outlet for me to be able to rap battle somebody without hurting their feelings, or more importantly, without me getting my feelings hurt. But also in some ways it just like illustrates the like desperation in like the vacuum of creativity.
You are a former King of the Dot champion, a rap battle monster. I mean, that industry is going to see itself be a lot different post-pandemic.
Yeah, like rap battles, there was a time on a Fight Club where rap battles were taking place with a pool table between the two people, right, as like a modicum to stop people from like fighting each other. But now, like, we might need people in Bubble Boy suits battle rapping with one another. But at the same time, like, how tough can you look? Like with if you're like, you know, scared of a virus. Yeah. Part of battle rap is bravado, and you have to look like a hard ass dude who doesn't give a fuck about anything. So it's like, I don't know, how can we be smart about this and like save the essence of battle rap? Right. And I think we just need herd immunity in battle rap. I think all these battle rappers just need to kiss each other on the mouth and get it over with.
You and I have been saying that for years, that just start each battle with French kissing. Now we finally have a reason.
Exactly. Best kisser gets to go first or second. Yeah, best kisser chooses who goes first or second.
You do make me think that in a battle, someone could say, you know, I'm a tough guy. That's what I'm about. Just to prove that, go ahead and spit in my mouth. It's a very easy way to be a pervert, but also be very good at battle rap.
Yeah, it's a cheat code, honestly. At the end of the day, like forcing somebody to swap spit with you will be the ultimate act of male dominance.
Oh, I agree with you. Total alpha. What do you miss most with sports gone? Like, what do you see yourself fiending for the most? Like, what bothers you that's gone?
So I am not a huge gambling guy. I know that a lot of people with whom I work are gambling people. And if they were offered sports can be back, you can watch, but you can't gamble on it, they would say, I don't even want sports back. I only want it for the gambling aspect. For me, it's like it's the like normalcy of like having something to go do. Like for a lot of people who are super into sports, like a lot of their weekend will hinge around it. Like in a football season, my Sunday is all about sports. And so it's like having that like peg to hang my hat on every day. It's just like, like day's over. I can sit down and watch like this slate of NBA games from like 9 o'clock until 12 o'clock and just like turn my brain off for a little bit. I'm watching the Great British Bake Off to just have some type of like competition in my life, just to like feel like somebody is going against somebody or like they're trying and failing. Like I just need that to kind of end my day so I can just watch instead of participate in the rat race.
Yeah, you have a radio show through Barstool that you guys have been keeping up from your house, I think, right?
Yeah, we've been doing it most days kind of remotely from Brooklyn. It's been preposterous. My neighbor's pets keep on wandering through.
I've seen that on Instagram. You've basically adopted a cat.
Yeah, a cat named, I don't know what the cat's name, we call it Garbage, but I don't even think I should learn its name. I don't even want to know from my neighbors, but we have like a shared balcony situation. So this cat just kind of wanders into my house every single day while we're recording radio, while we're doing video, or just like in the middle of the day. And it just won't leave. I think maybe it enjoys my aesthetics more. Maybe its parents are I think it's one of it's like mom is like some kind of Soul Cycle online instructor.
Okay.
So I'll always hear her like barking through the door, like, come on, go harder. So maybe we just have a peaceful living environment because I'm not exercising at all.
I hope that's exercise.
What I have been enjoying is your fit pics every single day. You've been crushing it.
I've been pushing it. I've realized that for 2 months I've dressed like Adam Sandler.
You really have. Like, who is more happy than Adam Sandler that his way of dressing is completely normalized now?
No one. We've all become house painters.
Dude, I have a gift that I bought for you maybe 2 years ago, and I've never had like the reason to send it to you.
Right.
But it would be the perfect thing for you to be wearing right now. It's a sweatshirt with Michael Jordan crossing over Michael Jackson on it.
Sold.
I don't even think I've ever opened it, but I purchased it for you, and I've just never had the situation to send it to you, but it's just burning a hole in my house.
And you know what? The best part is over the last 2 years, it's aged super well because it's true that we would all root for Michael Jordan to cross over Michael Jackson. Nothing has changed. It's all still the same kind of wokeness.
Exactly. No, it's the perfect situation. The power dynamics are exactly where they need to be.
For us who are maybe Barstool novices or guys who kind of like me, listens to a couple shows, I need to have the 101 on the Call Me Daddy or whatever it is drama that is going on. It's caught, I think, the attention of a lot of people because we're all just fiending for anything where people are mad at each other. But tell me what is happening between these two girls.
So, yeah, this has kind of captured the attention of America right now, which is like maybe some of the biggest podcaster drama that's ever arisen.
Yeah.
But these two women have a wildly successful show hosted by Barstool Sports called Call Her Daddy, where they give relationship advice, empowering advice to young women everywhere. That definitely skews towards the sexual side, but it's a salacious show, and it just crushes. Like, it does incredible numbers. Young women everywhere love them and identify with them. Over the last couple months, they kind of stopped doing their show, and they kind of stopped putting out episodes. They weren't fulfilling their asks with advertisers, and no one knew why. No one could figure out why. And it kind of came out that they wanted a new contract. And then it kind of came out more that they were negotiating in bad faith because one of these women was dating an executive from HBO who was negotiating a new deal for them.
Right.
So they were under contract with Barstool. He was negotiating a deal with Wondery for them, and they were trying to keep their intellectual property, which is like an interesting question in the podcasting world. Like, it's gonna, I guess, kind of be like the music world as far as like who owns someone's catalog, who owns somebody's intellectual property. And so it shook out that the one who was dating the HBO executive, she wouldn't take any deal that Barstool offered. So she is out. Barstool is retaining the IP of Call Her Daddy, and the other co-host, a young lady named Alex Cooper, will be hosting the show on her lonesome. And that's the latest in the Call Her Daddy drama.
So here's my thoughts. One, you guys are definitely going to do a Barstool search for the co-host. I feel like that is a given.
Got to.
That seems very easy. And also, for people who are listening to this show and don't know, this isn't just like small time podcast. This like lists in the top 5 of all podcasts. This is like a Joe Rogan level of listenership.
Yeah, when Joe Rogan was when he signed his deal with Spotify last week, like the New York Times article had to cite him as the number 2 podcast on the charts at that point, behind Call Her Daddy, just because the nature of the controversy, more people want to listen, but they're still pretty consistently like a top 10 podcast, which is a testament to how well these girls talk about the move they have is called the Gluck Gluck 9000, which you can use your imagination.
We'll guess what the Gluck is.
Yes, exactly.
Again, without sports, we have to gravitate towards these things because nothing else is going on. So I'm happy that Barstool, as always, has found drama in the podcast world. That's what we like about them.
It's honestly fascinating from like a creator's perspective. It's like, what is the best way to get in front of people? Like, what are people sitting in front of, and what do they have the bandwidth for? And I think that we're all finding out.
Well, Barstool's in a great position for that because you guys have like a dome. You live in this sort of world where there's, storylines within yourself and people want to support you guys. And I think that's the future of all this stuff is just people supporting their favorite creators, directly. And you guys have that business model set. So that's nice. Well,
Big Cat says, he said to say hi right before I came in. I told him that I was hopping on with you. So he said to send your best. You crushed it on that part of my take video.
Yeah, love that, dude.
Yeah.
Excited to have went on. Well, thank you, Rone, for talking to me, and I wish you the best and stay safe. Is the wedding postponed and canceled? What's going on in your life of almost being a groom?
I think it's on for next summer. So it was always going to be a next summer thing anyway. The proposal being around like the holiday season, she didn't want like a short runway. So it kind of worked out that not that many things are having to get rearranged, luckily.
I do still think it's super weird that you set up a whole pandemic to push it off. So
no, it was what I had to do to get those cheaper prices. It's just you have to do what you have to do at the end of the day to help those pockets.
Got to get that flight off season.
That's right.
Well, thank you, brother, and we'll talk soon.
All right, appreciate you. Thanks so much, Jensen.
The No Sports Report is produced and distributed by Treefort Media. The show is executive produced by Kelly Garner, Lisa Ammerman, Matthew Kugler, and me, Jensen Karp. Tom Monahan is our senior audio engineer and sound supervisor, with production and editing by Jasper Leak. Additional production help from Tim Schauer, June Rosen, and Haley Mandelberg. Our theme music is composed by Spilkus. If you've enjoyed what you've heard, please subscribe, rate us, and review us on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And please visit feedingamerica.org. If you're able to make a donation, any amount makes a difference, and you can learn more about other ways you can help on their website. For more information on the No Sports Report, links to the socials, and for show transcripts for our hearing impaired listeners, go to treefort.fm. Be safe and be well. The No Sports Report is a production of iHeartRadio and Treefort Media. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.